I think I'm going to eat into some bit of the lunchtime, so apologies for that. To introduce, my name is Anoop, and I work with Euroasia Consulting. To set the context of the discussion today, I just would like to start with making a few points to this August audience. Why are we talking about Bio LNG today? Yeah. The gas consumption, I'm sure we are well aware, is standing at somewhere about 70 odd BCM per annum, and this has grown at about 5.5% in the last 1 year. And the dependence on imports, though, has grown significantly. I mean, we were somewhere at about 30% a couple of years back. We are now at about 50 odd percent today. Yeah. Apart from that, the targets that we have for India from an energy mix perspective, we're talking about increasing this gas consumption from about 6% where we stand today to about 15% by financial year 30. What this means is that either we need to increase our domestic production, or we're talking about increasing the imports share overall, which is not then going to be very great for the economy if we're going to increase our imports. How can Bio LNG come into play here is a big question. But before we get there, let's talk about where we stand in terms of the compressed biogas industry per se today. Yeah. Compressed biogas industry is at a very nascent, I would not say nascent, it's not started to grow really well. It's coming up very nicely today, and it's supported by some of the very, very good schemes that the government has introduced, which includes the Satat scheme. That's where we started pre-COVID, somewhere about 2017-18, and that was followed up with the scheme from the CGD-CBT Sync scheme, which is now allowing us to also inject or supply to the city gas distribution network as well. Yeah. So these are some areas that the government has already started working, and that's allowed the CBG industry to grow. The CBG industry, and we've studied this quite in detail over the last 7 to 8 years. What we understand is that the potential capacity of generation in India, and this is based on a lot of detailed research that we've done, stands at somewhere between about 10 to 13 million tons per annum. As a standalone capacity, and this is considering all the alternate uses as well, right? So we discount out all the alternate uses, for example, in biomass feed boilers and in terms of other applications where this goes. So the available potential is going to be roughly about 10 to 13 million tons. Now, of this, roughly about 80% is from the agri-residue industry. Where do you find the agri-residue? It is all in very, very rural areas which are not well connected to the key demand centers for whether it be bio CNG or in terms of the city gas distribution networks. Transportation of this, I mean, the CBG industry is already plagued with a lot of financial burdens, and transporting this to distances beyond 50 kilometers is already not a good idea, but we're already talking about 75 kilometers at least. And here's where Bio LNG can play a key role in terms of, if we are able to create some sort of small scale LNG stations around the country, especially in agri-rich zones, convert this and then transport this to longer distances and allow for usage in the Bio LNG as Bio LNG, which would probably be much more greener than what LNG is going to be, because then you are already using a renewable source for generation of this. With this, I would firstly like to thank the August panelists and the August audience as well to be part of this session. Maybe what we can do is we'll start with some quick remarks, maybe from your side, Mr. Kumar, from your side, Hekri ji, and also Ashish ji, before we get into the question session as well. Yeah?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So, I will start with Satat scheme. When we launched in 2018, Satat scheme was targeting setting of 5,000 biogas plant across the India on the various feedstock, targeting 15 million metric ton generation of biogas or bio CNG, whatever you say, CBG. But after 7 years, we are finding that that target is not far away. We have to achieve, but the important point is that the journey started with a small step. 2018, 1st of October, we started this program. 2019, we first commissioned CBG plant in Pune, which was based on municipal solid waste. And after that, 2020, the COVID period came. 2020, 2021, this COVID period came, and initially all the plants which were getting set up stopped. I remember one plant, my important plant, Bio plant at Sangrur, which was 30 million metric ton. That was struggling to complete because all equipments, movement, everything stopped. And finances getting strangulated and all, many CBG plants got dropped out. We issued around 1,000 LOI that time within initial period of 1 year, but many of the plants could not set up due to financial condition and all. But lately, 2022-23, again it started picking up, and many other players like GAIL. Initially, only 3 players were there: Hindustan Petroleum, Indian Oil, and Bharat Petroleum. But after that, GAIL got involved. IGL also became partner. ONGC, every private sector, also Reliance, Adani, they roped in. And with this, now CBG has taken a real momentum. 100 plants approximately all over the India it has commissioned. It's running. Big plants from Reliance also has started performing, like Barabanki plant of Reliance based on paddy straw. Then many plants in Haryana, Reliance. Adani also has set up many plants. Indian Oil is setting up 30 plants. So like that, now it has really gathered momentum, and now with a small baby step in 2018,
I'm sure.
now it is going to take a giant leap tomorrow. That I'm assured. With this, I will like to
Yes.
stop here and give.
Maybe Mr. Hegde?
Yeah, Vijay Kumar, who is one of the pioneers who brought Satat scheme, I would, because he has covered most of the things. Additionally, what I'm adding is the CBG story getting into LNG forum. This is the opportunity. And this is what shows that CBG is coming somewhere and growing up. And parallelly, we are having an event in Yashobhumi, which is Bio Energy Tech Expo, where the similar efforts are being forwarded. So I look forward for more topics to come. Now I hand it over to him.
I think,
Thank you, Amunji,
Yeah.
and thank you for inviting Verbio to present our views. So I'll bridge the gap between CBG and Bio LBG. Why Bio LBG as a derivative of CBG or a biomethane is coming not only in India but mainly in Europe. We are operating around 37 Bio LNG stations in Germany. So now in India also our existing project based on paddy straw, we will be start producing Bio LBG maybe somewhere mid of next year. Why it happens was, like Anup you said, the agri residue is more available in rural areas where gas pipelines have not reached, because ultimately all the gas networks are developed to meet the consumption centers, not the sourcing centers. So CBG will be a source of gas which will be there in rural areas. So we have to see what is the cost economics. Either we connect 100 or 150 kilometers of pipeline to connect a small project. There are ROW issues and everything. But ultimately, alternate is liquefying it. And small scale liquefaction unit, like Kapil sir in last session said, they are tied up with Galileo, where in a small units like 18 tons per day, kind of a units are coming. So those units can play a very important role wherein CBG can be produced from biomass perspective, but cannot be lifted. So this liquefaction, it give a larger distance. I can make gas and liquefy it. There is a reduction of 600 times of the volume, and it can reach 1,000 kilometer or maybe 700 kilometers away. And in parallel, LNG networks are being developed. So ultimately, bio-LNG should not be regasified. It should be used as a fuel in a liquid itself.
Correct.
And the cost of liquefaction will be recovered because to decarbonize, LNG is a good fuel, but if I'm comparing with the coal and LDO. But LNG itself cannot, as a world, we cannot achieve net zero targets. We can't be a carbon neutral. Our maritime industry has to decarbonize itself by 50% by 2050, carbon neutral. So those all steps will be achieved. That's where bio-LNG will play an important role.
So Ashish, I like the way you don't say bio LNG, but you consistently use the word bio LPG
Yes.
because it's
Yes.
because it is bio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe Mr. Kumar, I'll start with you. IOCL and especially you have been a very central part of introducing this Satat scheme into the country for the biogas industry. How do you see bio LNG expanding, beyond the CBG part of it, and particularly if I talk about in terms of the demand creation, especially in the transport industry and the industrial usage. Like Ashish mentioned, liquefying and again regasifying is not going to be the option here. We need to use liquefied gas as liquefied gas.
Yeah, yeah. So the while we launched the Satat scheme, the initial planning was that within the radius of 25 kilometer, whatever is agri residue or whatever waste material is there, that should come to the biogas plant, and we take out the energy out of it, and the gas should be distributed within the 25 kilometer radius.
Correct.
That was the initial plan. Okay, with this idea, we launched Satat scheme, and the initial distance was 25 kilometer radius. That ideally, because we don't want to waste the fuel in transporting the material, either bringing raw material or in distribution of the byproducts. So that was the basic idea, that since India is an agriculture country, and this parali and paddy straw was getting burnt in the field, which could have been ideally come to the biogas plant, and out of that roughly 10 million metric ton, we estimated that 100 million metric ton of paddy straw is getting burnt in the northern part of India and choking the Delhi NCR. So we thought that it's a better scheme that we set up biogas plant by which within 25 kilometer radius all the raw materials should come, and within 25 kilometer radius they should be distributed. Whether it's gas, CBG, or organic manure.
Correct.
But what happened with our experience, we find that we commissioned a few plants, and we find that distribution is a problem, because ready-made customers are not there. Ready-made customer means CNG vehicles are not there to take, because market conversion is not there. It was a paradox that where raw material is there, demand is not there, because raw material is available in the rural area. And when we set up the plant in rural area, that area is not sensitive to CNG demand. Vehicles are not there. So with this problem, what happened, we commissioned one plant at Namakkal, Salem district. Like that, so many plants we commissioned. We find that hardly 8 kg, 10 kg CNG is sold from the retail outlet. It is
The CNG.
bio CNG.
Yeah.
And production is continuous. So what to do with the production? Then we started selling off to farther distance. Then we came up with the 50 kilometer
kilometers.
distance. When we started taking up to 150 kilometer distance. Okay, 175, 200 kilometers. So, but in this process, fuel is getting burnt. So that whole idea that it should be consumed locally was not happening. So here roles of LNG comes into the play. That because gas you can't transport to large quantity, to large distance, it's not feasible, it's not working.
Right. Right.
So large quantity, why LNG? LNG because you have to import LNG is required because you have to import from the outside country, so it can only come in a cryogenic vessel through tanker. So you have to liquefy, necessarily you have to liquefy. So transport, whenever you transport CNG,
Longer
you
distances.
need to have liquefaction, this plant.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why this important part comes into the play, that you need to have LNG facility to transport you to a larger distance or this thing.
Understand.
So that way we have not thought, in fact, this CBG industry is not thought of that way that it can be, because LNG itself is, in India is
Is
at
very
a
nascent.
primary stage.
Yes,
Only 30
yes.
retail outlets is working
Correct,
nowadays.
correct.
So it's in the just developing stage.
Correct,
What,
correct.
what I think that in coming days, when this LNG will grow, more and more a small liquefaction plant will come, that may come with a part of the CBG industry. So necessarily when CBG is plant, suppose a refinery needs hydrogen, suppose hydrogen is integral part of the refining process. And you will be very delighted to know that from CBG, easily you can make hydrogen.
I think we've been working the BPCL
Yeah, yeah.
plant in.
Yeah, yeah. Suppose, and that too in large quantity, because to make 1 kg of hydrogen, you need 4 kg of at least CBG.
CBG.
Okay. So large quantity of, suppose a refinery is needing 10 kg, 10 ton of hydrogen or 5 ton of hydrogen, you need 50 ton of CBG. So that time transportation to 150 kilometer, 100 kilometer distance, you need to convert it to LNG
Liquefied.
to make it economically viable and economically sustainable.
Correct.
So-
I think you've put a good point, and I'll come to you, Ashish ji, on this. That and you mentioned also that Verbio has been in Europe has been an integral part of this Bio LNG journey per se. It's been on both sides, on transport as well as on in terms of blending into the gas grid network as well. Where do you see Bio LNG fitting in the Indian context here now? If you take parallels from Europe, whether is it going to be in the transport industry, or do you think as an industrial fuel, as a replacement to the industrial fuel, or should we look at from a gas grid injection perspective, or maybe we were just having taking a cue from the previous discussion, whether Bio LNG cylinders to replace LPG cylinders per se, for example. How do you see this?
So like Vijay sir has said, from industry perspective, hydrogen is one of the avenues which can be explored. So I'll talk about others. Like in Europe, the main important theme of Bio-LBG is, I would say it's a drop-in fuel. Existing LNG infrastructure, whether it is the tanks, whether it is the storage bunkers, it can be used as it is. There is no need of conversion. It is a straight away drop-in fuel. It's a pure methane molecule in a liquefied form. And it will help, like from our European perspective, I would say it will decarbonize hard to abate sectors, wherein I would say long haul transportation and maritime. See, maritime regulations are coming, IMO is coming up from 2028. They will reduce their emissions by 10%, 10 or 20%. So those factor of reduction can happen in this maritime industry. They are running on either LNG or some more dirtier fuels, heavy fuels, LDO or something. So Bio LNG can be used by a maritime industry because ultimately the obligations are being imposed on them to reduce their carbon footprint. And those obligations will increase year on year. By 2050, they have to reduce it by the 50%. So from Indian context, we have very much potential from the biomass perspective. CBG can be produced, and Bio LNG as a derivative from the biomethane can be very, very attractive option in case we want to target long haul transportation or the maritime sector. Because in India, putting obligation on long haul transportation, wherein LNG is in itself penetrating just started now. So I would not see there will be a like a blending target in a LNG as a Bio LBG will come. But yes, for maritime sector, it is a very attractive option which we see.
So mainly you would say maritime industry.
Yes, or some other
especially.
industrial like the green hydrogen, or it can be used.
But then liquefied is not going to be the option there, right? Because
Yes, right, right.
obviously. Yeah, maybe coming to you, Shashiji, on this part, that, as a private developer, what do you see as the biggest barriers, to make bio LBG? And I'm trying to change my word from LNG to LBG again. To make bio LBG products more bankable. Is it going to be from a perspective of feedstock security? Is it the capex intensity that this industry is going to have? Or is it going to be off-take risks like what sir just mentioned, the CBG industry faced in the initial parts of the Satat scheme? Yeah.
Coming to CBG or LBG, this is a pure manufacturing industry. It is not something like extraction and cleaning up the gas. There are two major steps in this. One is liquefying, which all of you know. There is one more critical step, which is this is produced by bacteria. And the major challenge may not be lying in the offtake as of now, because all of India, it is not going to come up at a single time. Probably country do not have so much of money to do the capex on a single sector alone. So it is going to be step-by-step improvement across India. When the entrepreneurs do a proper feasibility study, they will come to know where there is a demand, they have to set it up. So that is a very basic rule. So, but coming to the technology side also, there are certain challenges because microbiology is involved. Coming to the feedstock, whether it is a risk. Feedstock, if you look at paddy straw or if you look at municipal solid waste, those waste as a single standalone raw material, of course it becomes a risk, because here the feedstock is the major time of the management which goes. So in feedstock, there is a collection mechanism, as well as my company Icons, we have been doing research and promoting Napier grass as a standby feedstock for a security purpose. So we all need a staple diet, right? So similarly, biogas digesters also need a staple diet. So there is no single risk related to this, but things have to mature. So that is what, one by one things are getting cleared. Coming to the financing part, now this CBG or LBG industry is not yet fully exposed to the foreign capital kind of thing. It is right now, it is rural oriented, rural driven. The entrepreneurs who are having rural touch, where they can hold some kind of feedstock stability. They know somebody in villages, they can collect the feedstock. It is not very corporatized as of now. So of course the capital is coming from Indian banks, especially the government-based banks. The capital is a challenge.
The capital is probably a big challenge, right? So maybe Bijayji, coming to you on this one, that Satat scheme took some time to evolve, and we all know that, what are the key learnings we can take from the Satat scheme, and what are the kind of modifications that we would need to do in the Satat scheme, so to also try and integrate bio CBG, or bio LBG into this scheme of things. Do you think it is viable, A? And B is, what are the subtle changes that would need to be made? Because you're going to increase the cost again. I mean, the CBG industry is already financially very stressed. Converting the molecule from a gaseous form to a liquid form is going to add costs, maybe 30%, 40%. I'm not so aware. India is just doing their first pilot today. What do you think, are these subtle changes that would be required then in the Satat scheme then?
Okay. So I will just like to start with the plus point. What is the plus point for biogas industry in India? So plus point is that abundance availability of raw materials. Raw material is not a problem. It is available abundantly across the India. Because India is an agricultural country and agricultural waste is plentifully available. But the problem starts with its collection. Collection and storage is a problem because a very small window period is available. So a small window period means within 20 days, within 15 days, you have to collect all the raw materials.
Correct.
Okay. And to collect such a huge raw material, 20 million metric ton, 15 million metric ton, you need huge number of equipments.
Correct.
Huge number.
I think we have a perfect example sitting right
So,
next to
so,
us.
so
here.
they have also faced the problem. They are also facing the problem. And whosoever is in the aggregation business, they understand this problem. Okay. Because you need to have this huge number of equipments which will be idle for long period of time. Long period means 30 days if it is working in the
year,
in a year, 30 days it will sit idle. So financing now, it will be stressed because if equipment sits 30 days idle, so financing will be a problem. So some special type of innovative financing has to be done.
But I think the incentives are already in place for financing
Okay,
of these
but are they
aggregation
enough?
machines.
Are they enough to collect such a huge number?
Not really.
Because 200 set of equipments, 500 set of equipment. How many sets you need? How many sets? That has to be one set of equipment in 30 days collects 1,000 metric ton.
Yes.
Okay, 1,000 from metric. One CBG plant with 100 ton daily feed collects roughly 30,000
So
ton of
basically-
material.
So basically, we are saying if I take a rough thumb rule of 1,000 tons, convert to say, for example, in terms of tons per day of CBG, we are talking about how much? 100 tons.
100 tons per day means 10 ton of CBG per
Correct.
day.
Correct.
Okay. So just to make it clear that what is the enormous volume required to gather the feed stock, agri residue. Okay.
Correct.
Then storage. How many acres of land you need for storing whole year? 1 acre of land, 1,000 ton. Okay, 1 acre land, 1,000. And to collect for one plant with 30,000, 30 acres of land you need for one plant. Okay, only for storing the material. So, and 5,000 such plants you need.
That's the target.
Okay, so understand the volume of the business. Okay, and with this financing, every stage financing is required to collect the storage, to purchase the machinery, everything. And at what price you will sell the gas in the market? At the price of CNG. That is fixed. You can't sell at higher price.
No one will buy.
Okay, who will buy? If your gas is at a higher price than CNG in the market, who is going to buy? Okay, so that end is fixed, pricing is fixed. Other thing, financing is at 10%, 12%, that is also fixed. So that's where requires the innovative financing. What I mean to say innovative financing means you staggered the interest in such a way that stress does not come to CBG plant. At least 5 years or 6 years, initial 6 years, you put less stress on them. When it becomes viable, when it start producing at a regular pace,
scale.
when buyer market is established, you would start taking. Like that, some innovative financing is required. That is not happening. Okay.
Right.
So problems are many, let us not go to, but with these problems, we are able to commission 100 plants, more than 100 plants, 1 lakh ton of per year generation of CBG is happening right now. So I am very optimistic that in this industry is going to grow because it is the demand of the time. You don't have cleaner option.
Absolutely.
This is the most clean way of converting a biomass which otherwise will emit methane emission, which is more dangerous than carbon emission. This is the most effective way
Correct.
by which you get CBG also, clean fuel also, and organic manure also. So whatever comes from the field goes back to the field. With this theory, It's a,
The
it's a,
complete cycle is then
yes,
complete. Yeah,
complete recycling with generation of employment or other ancillary benefit.
absolutely.
So you don't have choice. You have to adopt it.
Right, and that's going to require a lot of support from the government side, is
Yeah,
what I
government-
understand.
government
from
is
a
doing
capital
what-
intensive perspective. I mean, from a capital incentives perspective, for land availability, ensuring that the land is available for setting up the plant,
Yeah.
but also for stocking of all
Many-
of this huge
see,
amounts of.
Yeah, I will like to add here, many governments, many state governments, like UP governments, they are giving land parcel to CBG at 1 rupees.
Correct, correct.
1 rupees. 1 rupees at the nominal cost of 1 rupees. They are giving. So, and with special schemes are coming. Like UP government, Haryana government, many other governments are giving this. So government thrust is there. Whatever government can do, government is giving all the support. Little more support from the financial institution, this industry will flourish like anything.
Right. I think we are talking a lot of support from the financial institutions, and as I understand both from you and from Shashiji, that this entire financial support today is either happening from the government-driven government-run financial institutions or OMCs.
Yeah. Mostly Canara Bank is the lead bank. In fact, in Satat scheme, they have been appointed as a lead bank to coordinate with all other banks.
Right.
And we used to conduct regular meetings with the banking industry, how to finance what requirement is there. Because see, when industry is coming new, all the parameters are not set.
Yeah.
Banking is also new to such schemes. They have never heard. So problems are there. They have to understand how to make financing,
Right.
because they also don't want to run into problems. Where their money is sunken or
Right,
not recovered.
right.
So
Yeah. So maybe in best interest of time, we'll try to keep the answers a little shorter here. Maybe Shashiji, for you, what would make LNG attractive as an investment option for private equity and institutional investors in India? How do you see Bio LBG becoming an attractive? What do you think would make it attractive for them?
Yeah. Last year, we published a white paper on investing in CBG. So I will take some cues from that. Basically, these compressed biogas, once it is purified, the cost of the gas will be somewhere between 35 to 40 rupees per kg of gas. We are selling CNG at around 78 to 80 rupees. So there is a good gap or the margin for the investor. But it is important that how the investor looks at. See, right now the investors are MSME. MSME thinks that it is a purely ROI basis within 4 year, 5 year, 6 year kind of thing. Whereas the larger investors, they do not look at those number of year basis. It is like CBG plant has a life of 25 years. Over the 25 years, how much wealth it is going to create. So when we look at this as a second matrix, it is already very attractive, what I feel. Of course, it is a volume game. The minimum volume has to be like 20 tons per day to make it a liquid, probably. So otherwise, it is right now it is viable. It is not so dangerous. It is because the energy is ever growing kind of thing.
Right. Perfect. Maybe just coming to you, Ashish, on this one, that Bio LNG globally is now well established. What are the kind of partnerships that are required now in India to really try and accelerate this? I think Shashiji already spoke about financial institutions coming in, and we need to have 20 TPD plants. So, for example, taking the cue from 20 TPD, not all plants in India, and we both know, is coming to that scale. I mean, you can count them on your fingertips today, right? Most of the plants are below 10 TPD as of now. So in that case, do you think that SSLNG terminals, which would consolidate these inputs from the different CBG plants coming together, kind of a hub and spoke arrangement to liquefy, is that kind of a partnership we look at? Are we looking at partnerships with feedstock aggregators? Because feedstock is one of the key challenges that we also see in the industry today. Or what other things would try, and you would be able to unlock the scale and the potential of Bio LBG?
So I'll keep my answer in two splits. One partnership is from the technology side. So when we say CBG and Bio LBG, you have to understand that we have to make biogas, which is 50% methane. We have to purify it,
Correct.
which is the compressed biogas. And purification, IS standard has revised 95. But to liquefy it, I need much more than 95. It has to be 98, 99. Otherwise, these systems will not work. So the investment in complete CBG sector will remain as it is. The cleaning has to be remain as it is. So the cleaning systems wherein the methane slippages are very less, I can be able to supply biomethane consistently at 97, 98 would be the ideal condition for small scale liquefaction unit to operate. Otherwise, it won't operate. That's where now this small scale LNG India does not own or manufacture. There is no market. So like a player like Galileo from I think the South America, they are one of the key players who have supplied more Bio LNG liquefaction units. So wherein a separate purification unit is also there to reduce methane, increase methane from 95 to 99. So that's where once units come up, so one kind of partnership is with them, wherein 18 tons per day kind of units can be integrated, which is around 700 MMBTUs per day. From the local side in domestic, these liquefaction unit, the main OPEX driver is the electricity because we have to again cool it at minus 160, 170 degrees. So that requires energy. Getting energy from the grid will not make it happen. You have to find the cheapest source of electricity, which is currently the solar and wind. So you have to tap in the other source, which is quite cheap.
Just to add to that point of buying energy from the grid, if we buy energy from the grid, then we don't remain as green as what we want to be. So probably that also adds to the
Yes,
fact
that adds to
solar
my
and,
entire the intensity of my molecule because ultimately to decarbonize which kind of intensity my molecule is carrying, electricity plays an important role. In our Indian grid context, we are more towards the thermal base, so my energy intensity of electricity is quite high. But for LBG to function as it is, I can't take electricity from the grid, which is ranging from 7 to 10 rupees, varying from state to state. So liquefaction will happen if I have an access to a green electricity, which can be either through open access or like you said, hub and spoke. I am taking small plants, 10 tons each at some locations, and through mass balance, I am liquefying it some other area wherein I have an access to wind power maybe. So that's how it will work. Right now, there is no framework, there are no policies, but a time will come, it will develop on its own. The first project will come next year. I mean, it will use the grid electricity, which is not ideal. But to prove it at the pilot scale, it has to be done in this manner.
Correct.
So
I think bio LPG as a topic in itself, on such a big forum, probably this is one of the first wherein we have a session, whether even it is for an hour, to talk on the subject of bio LPG, which itself is a move in the right direction. I personally believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I will just like to add something what Ashish has said. In fact, the specification of CBG says that 2016, IS 2016, this says that minimum percentage of methane should be 90%.
Correct.
Okay. But our purification system, what we are installing, is catering to 94, 95%, 96%. System are there, which is more than 99%. Okay.
But
so
that is at a
when we are
cost.
planning LNG or something like that, it should be composite plant from the very initial days. You can't convert later on. So purification system has to be 99%. You should have solar power installed. You can't run on electricity because it will make the project unviable. You should have everything. So LNG conversion CBG plant, you should have from the very first day, you should be very clear in the mind what you are going to do with the purification system, how you are meeting your power requirement, everything from the very first day. You can't convert it later on because that will require capital intensive work. Okay, so that has to be kept in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe Shashiji, just one last question and a quick answer on this. Maybe from all of the three of you, I would probably request that. Looking ahead, do you see, really policies coming in favor of bio LBG? If at all, yes. If at all, no. What are the kind of policies that you believe should be there in the industry so to promote this sector? And it could mean anything. For example, creating waste to LNG clusters, or farmer cooperatives for collection of the feedstock, or have transportation tie-ups with the transport fleet operators, tie-ups with Siam, for example, to really boost this industry further beyond technology. Because yes, technology is required, that is available. There needs to be a proper mechanism internally to ensure that we have the right amount of feedstock collected, so to ensure that we are able to achieve this 20 TPD of local production, so to liquefy it, and things like that. What do you think, Shashiji? Maybe we start with Shashiji, Ashish, and then to close with.
Yeah, I have just two sentences on this. The CBG saw the fastest, what you call policy improvements probably in any sector.
Absolutely.
Solar probably took more than 15 years to come to today's stage, but CBG started very young, 2019, and it was already by birth a COVID baby. And within last 3-4 years, every good suggestion, whatever we have taken to the government, most of them are accepted. So the policy side, it's improving. What I see is the government even today sees this agriculture, industry, CBG production as a separate entities or separate activities. But this collective, what you call policy, where involving both the farming community as well as the industrial community, it is not happening. Even at the bank level, they fund it to the machineries, a CBG project, but they have to separately fund it for the agricultural machinery. So that disconnect is there. So some pipeline kind of connectivity has to be done for that.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe Ashishji, from your experience, I mean, you've been working with GAIL on this bio LNG topic as a pilot project for some time. What are the kind of policy interventions that you would like to see, so to allow this to scale at a faster pace than what we are today talking about?
In Indian context, all regulations are towards LNG. So there is no term LBG, and there is no term like a bio LBG. So there is an uncertainty which kind of regulation is applicable on a plant which is producing bio LBG or planning to do it. So which OISD standards, whether like they are being made from keeping in perspective the large scale terminals or even small scale terminal. But on that scale, biogas plants are micro, or I don't know at what scale it will be reduced. So which regulations are applicable, or whether we need certain modifications or inclusion the word bio LBG as it is, that would be one. Second, last I said, the access to the green electricity, that is the must. Because liquefaction cost is an add-on cost to the biogas generation, which encompasses all raw material collection, production,
Correct.
purification.
Correct.
So it's an add-on.
Yeah.
So I think these two elements are for the top two in my view, which I would say on this forum.
Right. For the last one question, I think we've got a minute and a half now. So, as a public sector leader, I mean, as IOCL, and if I just include the other public sector organizations, for example, we talk about ONGC and we talk about the BPCLs, etc., of the country, how can these organizations anchor the development of bio LBG in India? I mean, how do you see the role of these organizations in anchoring the development of this industry per se?
Yeah. So in fact, Indian Oil has taken a lead in Satat scheme. Entire scheme was conceived, planned on behalf of the ministry, together with Bharat Petroleum and Hindustan Petroleum, Satat scheme. And whatever policy changes has been seen in recent years, we have taken lead with the government and approached to the government, and every policy has been incorporated, whatever we thought that it's coming fit to the CBG industry. Whether it with manure marketing, so there was no manure marketing gazette notification. We talked to the government and brought the gazette notification for manure. Then pipeline injection, grid gas injection, CBG injection in the grid. Then recently circular has come that the laying of the pipeline, gas grid pipeline, will be at the cost of the government to CBG plants.
Correct.
For the gas grid injection of CBG in the natural gas grid. So whatever we thought should be there, but even then at policy level, many more things are required to make this industry grow. Like financing is one sector, one critical sector. Then arrangement of the equipments, CBG equipments, whether it facility, plant facility or aggregation is required. At municipality level, aggregation of the waste material. Also, although circular is there, but the segregation of the wet waste and dry waste, it is not happening. At ground level, it's not happening.
Correct.
Okay. So, a lot of wastage of this resource is happening in India due to all these. So policy level, some sort of things, these things are required. But apart from that, what I see that private participation is very at the, I'm saying that is a large scale, and all the private players, whosoever has interested, has set up the CBG plants. Even Reliance, Adani, they are coming in a big way. And Indian Oil as a anchor, they are setting up 30 CBG plants in joint collaboration with different parties. Like Bharat Petroleum also, they are setting up. So I see big roles. 100 plants are getting set up with private partnership by Indian Oil, HPC, BPC, ONGC, and all these 200 plants has been given by the government target, but initially they are setting up 100 plants. Right. So for an industry to grow, in fact, certain anchoring by certain industry is required, which IOC is playing. And I am very certain that with this kind of setting of the plants, whatever problems are coming will be solved in coming days, whether technology part or policy part, or from other statutory approvals and all. We have taken many statutory approval also, like environment clearance, PESO approval. We have sorted out many of the problems. So future, whatever will be coming, it will be sorted out. And I think a bright future for the CBG industry in coming days.
Right. Yeah, thank you so much. So I think the board says time's up. Press delete to reset or escape to exit. But on a short note, I'd just like to conclude that the CBG industry in itself has gone through the process of the entire teething issues that the industry could see. It's come out well. It's started to accelerate, and if this needs to be pushed forward, then Bio LBG is the way that it can be pushed forward with a lot of support from the government across different facets, be it in terms of financing, be it in terms of technology access, or be it in terms of getting more partnerships in place is going to be the need of the hour. A lot of support also from the fleet operators is going to be required, from the OEMs is going to be required to allow this industry to grow. It's just the first pilot that we are talking about in India, and I'd like to lastly thank Mr. Frankfurt for allowing this industry with such kind of a platform, with such kind of an august audience to be spoken about, and we really look forward for this industry to come up in a very big way, maybe not tomorrow, but at least over the next 5 to 6 years, we see this will have some sort of a place in the map on India put up. Yeah. So thank you so much. I mean, if there are any questions, please feel free. We'd be more than happy to answer. But yes, it's lunchtime, and I'm probably not wanting to take this. Yes.
So we had a little problem about the boil-off of LNG while at the selling stage or the marketing stage. Now, it's a nascent industry. The biomethane industry is a nascent industry. It's a baby industry as yet. Rules and regulations are yet to be and the
Correct.
policies are yet to be made because there is no single coordinating ministry, and everybody has his own way of looking at things. So I was after hearing, I was just wondering that, Bio LNG, in what form it will be marketed? Would it be marketed as in the LNG form, or would it be marketed as the regasified form?
So I'll start with answering, and we've been having these discussions. If it needs to be marketed, it needs to be marketed in the liquefied form, not in the gasified form later. I mean, that's my opinion on this. Probably the panel can talk about it a little more.
Yeah. So, in fact, CBG industry is an industry which has been working jointly with all the oil and gas company. So, all the procurement price of CBG is unified across the company. For GAIL, IOCL, HPCL, BPCL, they procure at the uniform price. Pricing mechanism has been formed. Everything is formed. Okay. So whether it will be LNG will be.
No, just hold on. You have come to a very interesting point. I asked you a different question. Now you are talking about price. You see, the CBG price has been declared by all the three companies. It's a uniform price. But then what's going to be the Bio LNG price?
So in fact, till now we don't have that facility.
Yeah,
that kind of setup is not there anywhere. Yeah. So it has not been thought of. But what I am saying that now, since this idea has come, later on when this industry will get stabilized, more than 1,000 plants, 500 plants are there. Might be there will be some other policy, or in future there will be requirement to set up the LNG plant along with the CBG plants. Then this can be thought of, and then policies can be formed. But what should be the procurement price of LNG or some sort of that thing, and whether it will be sold as LNG or CNG. That time it can be decided. It's a futuristic question. In fact.
Why am I asking it? Because those policies have to be formed up at some point in time. If the biomethane is being considered to be transformed into LNG, and then being used either as LNG or regasified biomethane.
Absolutely. I think, Ashish, you want to answer because you're doing the pilot in India.
It depends on what is the end use. If I'm targeting maritime sector, it has to be the Bio LBG.
Hold on. Maritime तो बहुत दूर वाला चीज है यार. You better think about the nearby commercial or some industrial usages. Maritime is a long way to go.
Nearby
This is just a thought, theoretical thought. Maritime is a theoretical thought. Maritime is a long, long way.
You're right, but ultimately in local industry, then it's a gaseous form. I mean, LNG has no market in India as of yet. If I'm talking about the rural areas, like panelists said, we are struggling that CBG should be consumed in a local area. That's why I'm targeting liquefying it to increase the distance at which it can be carried. So at that distance, whether LNG in itself as a fuel is being used, it's a big question mark in India. So as of now, for next 2-3 years, I'm seeing it as a regasified. But ultimately, it's a drop-in fuel. It can serve as LNG or CNG both.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to the audience for patiently listening over, skipping lunch for some time, and really pleasure. Thank you.